being different is a major part of establishing you.
Definitely, 100% agree with that. Yeah, key, I guess, insight, observation. Those people that are able to really establish themselves in the most effective way are comfortable in their difference. And not only do they embrace the difference, because sometimes it's not always easy to see people's difference, but they celebrate it. That's, yeah, in a nutshell, I think.
Yeah. What is being different though?
So, okay, we break it down. So for me, I'm talking about, it could be that what you're interested in. So it could be that your hobbies to a certain extent. It could be the obvious things like your appearance, your race, your size. Your difference could be your communication style.
Yeah.
You know, you might just prefer, you may be more introverted, or you might be really expressive. I want everybody to know when you're here. And if that's a part of you, that could make you different, you know, or it could be where you've grown up, your culture. Maybe you are quite privileged, maybe you know, you're very well to do, or maybe you've had a very humble beginning, and that's part of who you are. There's loads of
So
you know what I mean?
and I'm with you, and I think the key part of this, why we're saying being different is key to establishing you, is because everyone is different.
Yeah.
And if you understand yourself and celebrate yourself, you're going to allow that difference to come out. And as we know, the I&D thing, inclusion and diversity thing, has become big. In a way, it's fashionable for a company to say, oh, let's go and do some I&D work, which is good because it needs to be talked about. But we really want this to really stick.
I love how you flip it though. You say I&D. A lot of people focus on the D, which is diversity.
Yeah.
And diversity is the mix. It's all of the differences that we just reeled off, right? Your gender, your sexuality, your age, your background. That's the differences, and some people are starting to see that. Not enough on leadership boards, but you get the sense. But the inclusion is something totally different, and you know, being in a position where you know, I've done quite a lot of facilitation with diversity inclusion workshops, unconscious bias sessions. It's really, really interesting when you break down what the differences are, and you see that there's not that much inclusion. A lot of people don't feel comfortable because of the culture to show up in their difference.
Yeah. So there's definitely a culture thing. Maybe people don't feel like their working environment is ready for them to be different. Whether it is someone coming in with an afro, for example. Some people might not be ready, even though that's them.
Yeah.
Some people might not be ready to say, look, I'm just someone who likes wearing flamboyant shirts.
Yes.
So all of these things are happening, but ultimately what we're saying is, as individuals, there's a responsibility, and actually doing a lot of work with organisations on how do we lead inclusively, how do we inspire inclusions, because leaders understand that actually for people to be at their best, they have to be comfortable being themselves, which is a good thing, but also so there is a call to action for employers and HR people to continually put time in it, because the more people discuss, I was running some sessions only this week with an IT firm, and there's a realization that actually it's not being talked about enough, and it can't just be a short-term thing. There's answers for the short-term, but actually for this to really work, for this to help recruitment, for this to help retention, for this to help promotion, this needs to go on. So there's programs that we run, we can talk about definitely, but we want the individuals as well to understand, okay, what does that really mean?
Exactly that. So like we're right now, we're just touching on the inclusion, the fact that it's harder for you to show up as yourself or show up with your differences if the environment isn't accommodating, let's say, to it. If everybody dresses the same, everybody walks the same, everybody's come from the same background, whether it's educational background, Russell Group, whatever you say, it's more difficult. But what we're going to say is, part of that for a second, as individuals, actually, can we park here?
I don't know if we can.
Because, you know, I was going to break it down to, okay, that's the environment that you're in, that's the system. But yeah, show up as yourself, because that's what you're going to need to really establish yourself.
Yeah.
But you can't really put the round thing into the square peg. It doesn't fit. I don't know, what's your thoughts?
Well, even if I look at my career as a consultant, there is sometimes a feeling that to progress you have to be a certain way, and I felt that.
Give us a bit more. Like what in that scenario, in that world, what was the in group? What was the common personality or type? I know we're stereotyping, generalizing, but what was it?
It's hard to say whether there's a certain type. It's just more about the way things are done, the way you talk,
so
the way
the
you approach yourself, behaviors.
Yeah.
It's just understanding. All right, this is the things that get you far, and it's being very conscious that, for example, if I say things in a certain way, I'm going to be looked at. If I talk about things that I do outside of work, and is it gonna? But I'll be honest. I think a majority was things in my head that actually, had it been laid out on the table, would have made a big difference. And I think as I've gone on, I'm able to share more stories about what I do, whether it's with my family, whether it's outside. Or
is that a confidence thing?
Confidence. I'd say just understanding as well, I think. And sometimes going out into that space and taking that risk. And we're not always going to get it right. And being able to have those conversations or disagreements, but also it comes back down to what are we producing, what's the impact we're having, and letting people see that actually the way this person does it, there's an impact and it works. So again, establishing you.